Hello everyone, we are live. I think we've got audio. I am definitely not ready. I broke a jar thing right before we started, so I was having fun trying to clean that up. That is why I'm late. Anyway, I'm very clumsy. Let's see, tonight we are working in pan pastels and colored pencil. I'm going to be doing this sunflower. The drawing you can download over at patreon.com/Lachri. The direct link is in the video description. This is, let me show you. If you go over there, you get the reference photo. You've got color swatches. You also have the line drawing if that's going to make it easier for you. So make sure to head over to patreon.com/Lachri, and you can download those so you can follow along with me. While you download those, we've already got a super chat from Kirsten. It says, for the doggos. Do you boys want a super chat? Like, yes, we do. Okay, we've got sweet potatoes again tonight. Oh, Gibson's got the chatter teethers. Greyhounds, their whole head vibrates when they get really excited. It's kind of the equivalent of a cat purring, I guess. It's very good, huh? Very exciting. Not like he didn't just have one like 10 minutes ago, but we won't talk about that. No one's judging you, Gibson. Go lay down, down, down. I think the chatter teethers with greyhounds is one of my favorite things about the breed. So funny. Anyway, thank you so much, Kirsten. The boys definitely thank you. Okay, getting started. So I've already pre-drawn this out on tracing paper, and then I use transfer paper, which if you are unfamiliar, it's like carbon paper. Only people my age or older probably know what carbon paper is. But it's just a sheet of paper that you would slide under, and then you can take a stylus or a pen or whatever, and you would just draw over it, and it leaves those lines on your paper. How many of you guys know what carbon paper is? I think I just super dated myself. Does anyone use that anymore? What am I getting a notification for? Hold on, why are you sending me? Oh, washing machine's done. I got total off topic, but back at the beginning of the year, I had to get a new washer and dryer, and I've been trying to make those last for a long time. Luckily, I was able to donate the ones that needed some repairs. Somebody wanted them. But anyway, I got new ones. They're the smart ones that send me through the app a message when, like, they text me basically, or a notification on the app when laundry's done. It is probably the best thing that ever happened to me. No more laundry just sitting, forgotten, needing to be rewashed 20 times because I keep forgetting about it. Oh my gosh, it is, like, I've had it since, what, didn't I get that, like, January or something? It is the best, like, of all the things I've ever purchased, that one's probably my favorite. Okay, moving on. I know I got the notification. Laundry is done. Now I'm probably going to forget because it has to be done when we're done with this. Okay, I'm working on black Inktense MeWe. I need an eraser because I just noticed I left a mark here. Just erase that. This will come, you can, oh, there's my other. See, I'm very scatterbrained after breaking the jar thing. I hope I cleaned it up well enough that nobody steps on it. Luckily, the dogs are with me, so they can't step in glass if I missed anything. I'll double check when I'm done here. Anyway, if you are in the US, you can bid on this. Starting bid is $70. It will come matted, ready to pop into any 8x10 frame. The actual artwork size, the inner portion of the mat, get this side, is 5x7, and then the outer size is an 8x10. Now, these mats that I use, I'm going to show you how to mat your work. So if you are selling your own work and you're not sure how to do that, I'm going to show you how to do it. I use mats from I get on Amazon from Golden State Art. They're amazing. Link is in the video description. I love the set. I'll explain more about that later. Let's just move on with the artwork. Okay, let's see. Where can I put this? Oh, I also wanted to show you guys really quick, if you remember the painting from last week, the Oriole, I decided I was going to spend some more time and change it a bit. I made, because I'm obsessed currently with like an indigo blue and green, and I repainted, or I didn't repaint it, it's the same painting, but I changed the background, did a little bit of touch up. So how pretty did that come out? So I'm really glad nobody bid on it because I actually need to put a little bit more varnish on it. You can see it's nice and glossy, but it needs another coat. That is currently available on my website, I think for $315. So I put a lot more work into it. So the price goes up from the live stream. But yeah, that is the, that's what I did. When did I do that? Last night? Monday night? I don't remember. Okay, on with the artwork. So I'm working on black paper. This is the Inktense MeWe. This is the smooth side. Now, the important thing about this, or the thing that you need to be aware of, is whenever you're working on colored paper, the darker the paper is, the less vibrant, the less accurate to like the pencil, or in this case, the pan pastels for the base, that the color is going to be. It's going to be muted some because even opaque colors are going to be somewhat translucent. Some of that background is going to show through. But as long as we get really high contrast with our lights and darks, get those brights bright, leave the darks dark, then it's going to appear as bright as the reference photo, even though technically if you put them side by side, they're not. This is never going to get quite as bright as what it would be on white paper. So if I wanted brighter yellow, I wanted it more accurate, it'd be better to work on white paper, or even a light gray would be okay. But in that case, then I have to fill in the background. The reason I didn't want to do that, just for time's sake on a live stream, is if I have to fill this in black up against the yellow of the sunflower, it just takes a little bit more work to make sure I'm not smudging that. So let's go ahead and get started. I think I'm going to change. No, you're okay. This one's clean. I'm definitely going to be changing out some of these. Let's keep you. Let's change this one. Just going to swap out some of these soft tools. I always get lots of extras of the soft tool covers because I'll wipe them and reuse them to an extent, but I'm not one. I know people will say they wash them in soap and water. Yeah, good luck with that. I don't know. I'm too hard on mine. Mine will tear. Okay, so I'm going to start with using lighter yellow. This is it's the color I think isn't a real color. Daryllide yellow, the one that I can't say. I'm going to start with that as just kind of the base yellow for everything. Let's see how that looks. Oh, it's good. It is bright. And I'm going to fill in the majority of my petals in with that. I am not doing the background. I'm going to leave the black paper showing through. If I get too messy, let's say I have a huge smudge on the black paper and I can't erase it enough, I could fill that in with color after the fact if I need to. Shelby asked if I still sell my original pieces internationally. Unfortunately, rarely. Very, very rarely, because the way shipping is, there's no way for me to provide tracking. So if someone wants to be a jerk and be like, hey, I never got the item, and I've only had that happen once, but when people do that, if they report it to PayPal or whatever, although if it's with PayPal, it's considered custom, so they don't get their money back if I suspect they're lying, but there's no way for me to know for sure if they're lying. I know one woman did once. I think I've only had that happen the one time, but that was years ago, a lady in the UK, and that was with a print, luckily, not even with original. Just make sure I'm cleaning up so that's not out of the line there. But anyway, I can't get a tracking number. And so things, almost every time I ship something out of the US, it takes anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks. Minimum, it's taken up to 3 months. So of course the buyer is going to be like, oh my gosh, you never sent me what I ordered. And it ends up just being too messy. So I do not ship internationally at all, other than like Patreon postcards, Patreon mini prints, those prints, merch, that can all be shipped internationally. But original art, unfortunately, like if you know me, if you've been following me around a while and you really want something and it's small enough I can ship it, like basically nothing above an 8x10, go ahead and message me privately and we'll see if I can work something out. But I would only do that for somebody who I've previously had a discussion with on how long it takes, and that I have no tracking number. There's no way for me to show you. I mean, there's like a slip that shows I sent it, but once it leaves the US, I can't track it anymore, which is freaking ridiculous. It's terrible. And then to ship like FedEx or UPS or any of those, it ends up being hundreds and hundreds. It ends up costing way more to ship than the artist, than I sell the artwork. So unfortunately, that is why I do not currently ship internationally. And it's weird because I know people who are outside of the US who have no problem shipping here, but I've had just too many problems shipping outside, where the main problem I run into is it just taking way too long to get to the buyer. And we have no idea if it got lost at that point or what. So yeah, it's just best, unfortunately, sadly, for me to decide at this point, I do not ship original art internationally. Very rare exceptions. And just filling this in. I'm not even worrying about the colors or anything like that really right now. I just want to get all of the yellow, that base yellow, and then I'll come through and start doing all the fun shading. And if this isn't, like, if I go outside the line a little bit, it doesn't matter. This is a leaf. Like if I was drawing a portrait, then it's going to matter. Speaking of portraits, I had several people, well, by several I mean two, I think it was two, last week request that I do a lesson in portraits in acrylics. Didn't want to because acrylics are a pain to me. I just don't like acrylics for portraits. I prefer oils, but enough of you want it, I'll go ahead and do it. And by enough, I mean 2. So I'll go ahead and do it. And I started planning it. I found the most gorgeous reference photo I'm super excited about. It was on Unsplash. And the girl was holding a snowy owl. But the person had photoshopped it onto her shoulder, and it was like this big. Okay, snowy owls are big, so even I couldn't get over that big of a difference. So I changed it to a different owl. I'm working on, I don't know if I'm gonna add mods to it. I don't know, it's gonna be beautiful. I'm super excited to start that project. It's gonna be a big one. So that is coming over on Patreon soon. And I'm going to be doing a horse oil over acrylic portrait of a white horse. So for you equine lovers, that one is coming. And that, again, oil over acrylics for that one. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going with. What else do I have coming? Oh, I went and got reference photos from the zoo on, when did we go? Went Friday. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. Some of them are already up for you over on Patreon. The others, and if you're like, Patreon, why do you keep talking about Patreon? Patreon is for my students. It's a patreon.com/Lachri. For as little as $6 a month, you get access to every single one of my longer lessons, more advanced lessons, beginners through advanced. This is going to take you a lot further in your art. It is, again, $6 a month, but you also get 5, for the $6 tier, you get 5 reference photos. So that's what these reference photos are talking about, that I've taken myself, high resolution, you know, big stuff you can use in your own artwork. So that is what I'm rambling about now. Patreon.com/Lachri to get more info on that. And then different tiers have different rewards. So like more reference photos or our group challenge. Even at the $6 tier, you get access to our sketchbook prompts. So last year, people wanted sketchbooks, or they were doing Inktober. So that I wasn't a part of, but people wanted to keep that up. And so I started making sketchbook prompts. So a new prompt for every day to keep you active over at patreon.com. So definitely go check that out. But anyway, the reference photos I got some of these, a few different birds. Cheetahs. Oh my gosh, I've never gotten good photos of cheetahs before. Tiger. Oh my God, I was close. I mean, I was closer than I am to Gibson right now to that tiger. It was, I mean, I was behind glass, but still. Amazing photos. Like I had some, I'm not saying amazing like I did a good job. I'm not the best photographer. Good enough for our reference photos, that's for sure. But I had amazing, luck is the word I'm looking for. Like I got some really lucky shots, so I've got some more of them are coming out next month for you guys, but I want to paint some of those for sure. So got a lot of new art coming for you over on Patreon. Also, I just missed that. We had, for Oriole Beagle, says, gave us a super chat for the puppies. Do you boys want a super chat? Are you just going to say, oh, what is the problem I'm getting? There's not, no, so, oh, okay, that's fine. You guys want a super chat? Come on. Oh, this is very tasty. You don't have chatters this time? No chatter teefers? Okay, good boys. Oh, hey, those are fingers. Bad cow. There you go. Thank you so much. Okay, go lay down, down, down. I also got photos of a leopard, and this one wasn't as close as the other, so you can't, I mean, you can zoom in to an extent, but down, lay down, down, down. But it took me so long to edit this one to get all of the lines from there was shadow from the netting above him were cast on it. It took me so long to edit that out, but it is there. That would be a really good one with like a painting at a distance of a leopard walking like on a tree or something. And the other photos that I didn't post, I've got one of a sleeping jaguar that was really pretty. I was just really excited about everything that I was able to get. It was a really good day. I got a little bit of the orange in there because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. This gives me a pretty good place to start. I'm gonna go ahead and soften out some of the black lines so I can still see them. I'm just rubbing this over with whatever is currently on the brush. I can see them so I don't lose my place, but I'm also not fighting the straight black of the paper. Okay, let's go ahead and get some of the orange tones in here. So this one is orange. I'll be pulling some red oxide as well. And if you look at the color swatches that I mentioned earlier, oh, this is a little way far away. There we go. The color swatches, you can see there's a big contrast between the brighter yellows, and then we get into the red oxide and burnt sienna tones. So we want to make sure we're capturing that contrast there. Okay, back over here. So now I've got some of these darker colors, and I can see this line. Now notice the shadows. The shadows that you're seeing here that get really dark, they're determined by the leaf behind it. That is why there's such a dark shadow. So you can see how that pretty much lines up there. And we've got a little wavy guy. That one does not follow the rule I just said about lining up. And I'll be getting much higher contrast when I come through with the colored pencils. This lets me map it out. And let me see if I can adjust that, because that is not picking up on the camera very well at all. Hold on one second. Exposure. Nope. That's too dark. That's closer. You can kind of see the darker area I have here. This is a bit more defined. It's not really picking up as well as I would like, but that is closer. Okay. I'm just pulling up some of the orange and the burnt sienna, or wait, yeah, burnt sienna. Burnt sienna, is that the right color? I always get those mixed up. Yeah, burnt sienna. Burnt sienna and burnt umber, I will use the wrong word on those all the time. And I want to make sure if I've got streaks, they're going the right direction for that petal. And ideally, keeping inside the lines. Let's just erase that. Actually, I can start pulling some of the red oxide too. We need to be a lot darker. Now, notice on the reference photo, it's darker here, and as you get down, it gets a little bit lighter. So I'm not going to pull those darker darks that far down. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to fix a lot with the colored pencils. This just gives me a nice base. Yeah, I'm really liking that red oxide mixed in already. Got some lines. This gets chopped off by the mat, but I'm putting it in just in case anything pokes through so it doesn't look like I skipped a place. If you have questions, leave them now. I'll be answering all of those at the end of the live stream or after the artwork is done, unless it's artwork or this specific project related. Let's see this. Now this one doesn't line up. It's the shadow from this, but it's up a little bit higher, which makes that petal look forward more. Again, still mixing orange, burnt sienna, and a bit of red iron oxide. I'm going to switch to more orange. I had another one. Let's use this guy. Just orange down here. So I'm going to grab a new soft tool so that I can just let that blend up a little bit. So you can see we've got a little bit darker there, and we get lighter as we come down. That orange would be good for this guy back here. So I'm just going to use what's already on it to blend that. More orange. This has a little bit of the other colors mixed in too, just because I didn't clean the palette, but that actually works out really well. I'm going to pull brighter yellow. Actually, let's get a little bit of white mixed in with that yellow for down here. And let those just blend together a bit. What's next? Let's see, more of the red oxide with a bit of the burnt sienna. And this guy curves out. Then one of the things that I like so much, if you are new to painting or drawing and you're not super like confident in your drawing skills being perfect just yet, and that will come, that's normal. Like, and if your drawing skills aren't good now, that doesn't mean they won't be in the future. That's not something you're just born with. That is such a fallacy, which is funny because people always like to argue with me on that one, and it's like, no, you could be better than you are, you're just choosing not to, but okay, or not to put the work in. But anyway, moving on. That's a whole other rant. Where was I going with that? Oh, so I like starting people off with flowers because it lets you learn blending and shading. Like, you learn a lot from that, your values, your blending, your just about everything, but it doesn't have to be perfectly drawn to still look really good. Whereas if you're doing a portrait, I know a lot of people, their goal is to get into portrait drawing, so they jump into it a little too soon, and that is a bit discouraging because it's never, like, your first works are not going to be amazing, but if it's a flower, it still looks like a flower even if your petals are like completely in the wrong place. If your ear is in the wrong place, people are going to look at you a little weird. So that is one of the reasons for newer artists, for like your first project, first 2 projects, I like to start people off with flowers. Roses are great because they're not flat. You get a lot of shading. Orchids are a bit more difficult, I think, to make look good, because like Phalaenopsis orchids, because they're so flat. If it's a good orchid, it's flat. Like the best orchids look flat, and they can look a little bit. I've had students draw them and the mom come in and wonder why their daughter was drawing something inappropriate. Let's just say that about orchids. So orchids, not one I usually start people off on, but yeah, you can learn so much from painting or drawing flowers without it being so like full of pressure of making everything perfect. How many of you went to look at orchids to see what it was I was talking about? Phalaenopsis orchids specifically. Sometimes it can look a little funny. Which petal? Some of this is just a petal I invented that's not even on the, this one's on the photo. Okay, let's see. Again, if you need this reference photo, you can go download it yourself over at Patreon. It is free. If you complain that it's not on the screen, I probably just make fun of you because I always say you can go download it. And the thing is, if you are not downloading the photo, you just want it on the screen. I'm gonna pull brighter yellow into that now. You can't see what you need to see. You want to download the original photo so you can blow it up, see everything really big. Much better than trying to see the little, and you'll see, like when I get to my pencils, I'm gonna switch away my Pastels and I'll pull that reference photo. You can't see enough. Go download that photo. It is free. Using a little bit more white to brighten some of these spots up. Usually it's not people who are live complaining about that. It's always after the video, like the replay. I've told you often to remove the dogs and add the reference photo. Not gonna happen because I'm stubborn. I'm just mixing the lighter yellow, the Derelid yellow that I'm mispronouncing, I'm sure, and the white. Again, if you are in the US, you can bid on this. Starting bid is $70. I promise it'll be pretty when I'm done. Right now it's at that scary, questionable stage where I'm just starting to block things out. And adding the white, that's going to be more opaque, and the lighter yellow, so it makes it really pop a lot better. I'm going to switch to orange on this one. Let that pull up, soften that a bit. Again, the lighter yellows and some white. Really want this to stand out. Now, one of the things that's going to happen as you're doing this, look at it as abstract shapes, because if you're looking at this as a flower, it does not look like a flower at this stage. I mean, kinda. If you squint and turn your head to the side and like close your eyes. But if you look at it as the abstract shapes you see in your photo and just pay attention to those, that's what makes it start looking realistic. once it all comes together, as long as you're copying what you see. But if you're looking at this, I'm drawing a sunflower. It doesn't look like a sunflower right now. At all. I mean, kinda. Not really. But if you copy the abstract shapes, that is going to help you to get much more accurate work. I'm not looking at a sunflower. I'm looking at weird shapes. That's not redundant. See how much brighter I'm getting that. So the contrast between the lights and darks are really, they really stand out. Okay, that's pretty good for that part. Now let's go ahead and do the center. Now the center, I don't want to go super dark. Normally, like if I was painting, I would go with like almost a black brown for the base because I can get the lights to show up on top really well. Here it's better if I go with a mid-range tone, and then I'll use the pencils to get all the little details darker and lighter from there. So I am going to go with the burnt sienna, and we will just fill that in, and we'll do the details with the pencils. Both light and dark easily I can go with from this base. Just softening so I don't have a heavy dark black ring around there that I'm fighting the pencils with. Okay. I'm gonna get a bit more orangey tones on the edge. Let that blend in a bit to the raw sienna. Okay. Now I'm going to spray this with Spectrafix and then use the hairdryer to dry it quickly. And Spectrafix I keep in a fine mist sprayer. Link for this is in the video description. The reason I do this versus the container that it comes in is the spray bottle, if you just, it has a like a pump spray thing, it leaves heavy droplets that can sometimes you have to go back and blend over. If you put it in the fine mist sprayer, that is less of an issue. Using the hairdryer doesn't just speed it up, it also helps it to dry flat because when this paper gets wet, it buckles like crazy. So if it's taped really well to the side, and I'm using an acid-free masking tape, as long as it's taped well, then I can dry it and it'll go completely flat. Okay, let's go ahead and move some stuff around and get the colored pencils out. No idea what colors I'm going to use, so I'm just going to grab everything. I've got a combination of Caran d'Ache Luminance. I've got Derwent Lightfast, Polychromos, and Derwent Drawing Pencils. So let's grab all of those. And now that I've got that camera blocked out, let me hide that. Actually, I can probably just leave it and pull up. There's going to be the reference photo. So that, actually, let me see if I can fix mine so it looks a little bit more accurate color-wise. That's better. remember, as I said, it's never going to be quite as bright as the reference photo because I'm up against black paper. But until I pulled that, I think that's actually kind of an interesting thing. If you look at just that by itself, it looks like it's super bright and high contrast. And when you see that, you see what I'm talking about, like, oh, it's not as high contrast. Okay, let's go ahead. Yes, please, if you can like and share this video. Actually, sharing this video does so much. If you're in an art group on a social media platform, let people know, like, this is a lesson that they can follow along with. You will help me out so much. And of course, liking the video always helps. I'm looking for, here we go. I want some yellows with my Caran d'Ache. I'm going to pull those out because those are probably going to be my more opaque. I've got a better selection of those. Now, typically, my Derwent Lightfast I really like for being opaque, but they don't have as many yellows. I seem like I have, maybe it's in my head, but I think I've got a bigger selection of yellows with my Derwent Lightfast than I do with my, with my Caran d'Ache Luminance than I do with my Derwent Lightfast. Just pulling a few colors out that might be useful. I'm also going to be pulling out a purple color from Derwent Lightfast because either that or actually this is rose. What is this? Deep rose. That'll work. I'll do that for some of the deeper shading. And that should do it. I'll let you know what colors I just pulled out in a second here. Okay, so colors I pulled out, and I don't know that I'm going to be using all of those. Oh God, Caran d'Ache Luminance. I'm not going to be able to read most of these. Russet, I think is what that says. I've got white. I've got raw sienna. I have brown ochre 10%, so it's kind of a light cream. I've got Naples ochre. I have deep rose and Derwent Lightfast. Back to Caran d'Ache Luminance. I've got orange, burnt ochre, golden bismuth yellow. I just mispronounced that, and apricot. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started with that. I'm probably going to need a piece of glassine. And actually, I can show you the cool thing that I did that I felt super smart about until I realized, wait, why didn't I do this before? Where did I put it? I made a board. Here it is. So you guys know I'm constantly having to tape glassine to the work to rest my hand as I draw. You don't want to rest your hand on the artwork. Even if you're not worried about smudging, you still would get the oils from your skin on that, and that is not archival. We want to keep the oils of our skin off the work and also prevent smudging, so glassine is your best bet. It's just a sheet of, like, you can get it on a roll. It's fairly inexpensive on Amazon. Link is in the video description. So what I typically do, because I work upright at the easel, is I just tape it to the easel or my drawing board, and I move it as I need to. But if I'm jumping around a lot, I'm constantly having to move and retape that piece. So I went and got a piece of cardboard out of the garage, cut that down, and covered it in glassine on this side. So the tape is all on this side, so everything on the front is acid-free. And now, when I work, I can just slide this around wherever I need it, and my life is so much easier. Like, such a little thing, and it's so much easier. Jen asked if I liked these drawers for my pencils. I absolutely love them. They are, like, you can easily see the pencils in there. This one is a 3-drawer pastel box is what you would search for. Oh, I probably don't have that link in the video description. I should. But wonderful. Like, I definitely can't live without them. Now, if you're taking your pencils with you to draw, if you're going to art classes, then these aren't the best because everything will fall out sooner or later. But for like actually going to, or just working at home, oh, I love them. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just pick one petal and work my way out. It doesn't really matter which one. Oh, I don't have my pencil sharpening stuff. I knew I wasn't ready for tonight because I was too busy breaking things. Okay. And what I do, I keep next to my easel is just a mason jar that I put my pencil shavings in, and then I've got my little pencil sharpeners. I use these little comb sharpeners right here. Okay. Let me pull that up. Oh, those are the same. Okay. So I am going to start with this lighter yellow. I'm going to make sure my edges are nice and clean, so I'll push a bit harder. And then I'm going to switch over to, let's see, I've got apricot, Got orange, and what was this one? This one's probably going to get used a lot. Burnt ochre. That looks like a really good one. And by making sure that my darks are dark, that makes the lights look that much lighter, which, as we talked about, they're not going to be as bright as the reference photo because I'm not working against white paper, but they'll still be beautiful and super high contrast. You know, as long as I get my darks darker, that is going to give me that same effect, even though I'm working on black paper. I'm going to switch over to orange where I want this to be a bit brighter. I'm going to be burnishing for most of this, so that means I'm pushing pretty hard. Now, the thing with burnishing, usually with colored pencil, you don't want to burnish until you get towards your final stages or final details, because if you burnish too soon, you limit how many colors or how many layers you're able to get. Well, here, I'm not doing a ton of layers. This is a quicker project, so I can go ahead and push a bit harder and burnish earlier on. But if this is something that I was doing like super, super realistic, I'm going to take a bit more time and I'm going to work in lighter layers, not pushing so hard to begin with. Orange, and I'm going to be going back and forth between the orange and the burnt ochre quite a bit here. And just copy the shapes. They may not make sense when you're sitting up close to it, but when you back away, that's when it all comes together. Get some lighter yellow in here, definitely pushing harder to make sure that is showing up well. And then I want to get some orange around these. And then back to the burnt ochre, or was that one? Burnt ochre, yeah. And I'm pushing much harder at the edges that I want to stay nice and clean. Now, as we get down towards the base of all of these, they're going to be lighter. So you'll see your darkest values right here, kind of in the midsection of most of these leaves. As you get towards the base, this is going to lighten up quite a bit. So I'm going to switch to the yellow and the orange. A bit more down here. And I'm going to take this one. Let's see how this looks. This is russet, I think. That's perfect. I'm going to darken this up a bit. And just go one petal at a time. Don't try to do all the petals at the same time. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to come back and do touch-ups. Like, I'll get these petals done and I may come back and do touch-ups on this one. But you still want to focus mainly on one at a time as much as possible. If you're jumping around and like, okay, I'm going to put all the russet everywhere where russet's going to go, you are going to lose your place. You're going to make a hot mess. I mean, in this case, it probably still looks somewhat like a flower, but not as much as it could. I've got these lighter colors. I'm pushing really hard where I want that yellow to stand out more. Orange. I'm going to pull russet right back over some of these. Pull that down a little bit further. Okay. Now let's get this guy back here. So I'm going to start with the orange. Got a little bit of yellow there, so I'll leave that. We've got more orange here. Then we fade down into the yellow again. And then we've got russet for the tip. I'm pushing hard to make sure that's a nice clean edge. I'm going to do the same thing over this side, pushing hard, keeping that really clean. And let's go ahead and sharpen that pencil. It's starting to get a little bit dull. Oh, and we've got from ArtZK1, we've got a super chat. Thank you so much. Puppies, thank you. Do you boys want a super chat? You get a super chat treat from ArtZK1. Thank you. The hounds thank you too. Oh, this is going to be very good, huh? Oops, that's a little one. Let's pick out a big one. We don't want to short you. Can't have a tiny cookie, huh? Thank you so much. Okay, good boys. Go lay down. Say thank you and lay down. They're being weirdly obedient tonight. Sort of. Gibson, you're not laying down. Just as I say that. Okay. And I'm going to take some white where I want it to be a little bit lighter. And that white is not, my goal with putting white there is not to make the paper white. The goal is to lighten the yellow that it's going over. It's just going to mix in with that. If I want this white, well, it's not going to happen because I already have too much color on there. Okay. We've got a few lines. I'm going to pull the russet to get some of these lines here. We've got a line out that way. See, all these lines that I'm doing, they're not exact to the photo, and it doesn't even matter. This is why I love starting students out with flowers. They're gorgeous anyway. I mean, who doesn't like flowers? And on top, like, they're just so forgiving. I can't talk. I had lots of words trying to come out at the same time there. Forgiving was the goal, though. Some orange. Okay, and then this one gets cut off. You're not even going to see most of that from the mat, so we'll just kind of get a sort of in there. And I've got some russet. I'm going to go over the orange. I'm really liking this russet color a lot. I thought I was going to need to use that more magenta color. I don't know how much, if at all, that I will, because this is giving me like really nice tones. Okay, on to the next batch. So we're going to leave these alone. And then these two here we're going to focus on. So I can just slide my little glassine board over. And we've got the yellow. I probably have the yellow as I need it to be there. Let's go more with the orange. So this one up here, I went a little out of the line, so let's just widen that up. There we go. And then this one, there's the tip of that petal. I'm going to push hard along that edge so that I get a nice crisp line. I need to sharpen that pencil. That is really dull, so my line is not as crisp as I would like. This guy's really light, so we're going to come through with some white or, yeah, probably white. And then I'll go with orange right underneath it where the black paper was showing a bit. And it may seem scary, like the darks look a little too dark against how light that is. It's not. That is what's going to make this look like it has that back glow. This is one of those trust the process things. I always hate that term, or that thing, trust the reference photo. I feel like when people use the term trust the process, it's because they're doing it wrong. Like, that's not the process. At least most of the videos I see. Not art videos, just anything in general. Pushing a bit harder, using that russet again. And I'm leaving these sketchy lines through this. So not only are they doing shading, they're also adding the detail I need. I'm going to switch over to, which one was this? Burnt ochre. And just follow those lines up. I'm going to make this a little bit darker just so it stands out from that tip. And my shoe just tried to get eaten by my easel. That was weird. Don't worry, I rescued it. We've got a light that comes up through here. So I'm going to do white first, and then I can put yellow on top of it. If I did just the yellow, it's not going to stand out as much, but putting the white down first, it's going to let it be a lot lighter. And then we've got orange here. Again, pushing really hard so that stands out nicely. And we need some more of our russet lines. Okay, we're going to leave, actually no, I lied. We're going to lighten that up a bit on a couple spots. Okay, I'm going to pull, because I do want some of this to be darker. I'm going to use, this is the deep rose. Now often people think, I need something darker, add black. Avoid that when you can, when you're working on with oranges and yellows. That is going to muddy up the color like crazy. Instead use magentas, are one of my favorites. Magentas are purples to get some of the deeper shadows. Okay. Actually, you know what I think I'm going to do? Because right now I'm blocking the parts that are done and pretty. Let's start down here so you can kind of see what I'm doing as I'm working my way out the rest of the way there. So I'm going to, this one has a lot of russet. We have, actually this, I don't even know which is which. Okay, this is you. This is you. This doesn't exist. Okay. This was just in case it shows up on, under the mat. So that's not even a real leaf in the project. We're just going to quickly go over it so I have something there, but I know that most of that's going to get blocked. So I just want to have some color. We're not going to spend a lot of time trying to make something that we know is getting covered look good. That's just in case something peeks through. Okay, now on to this guy. So we have almost a kind of diamond, not really. I guess diamond, if you don't know what a diamond shape is, sure, let's go with that. It's a diamond. And it shades down this way a little bit more with the russet. Then I need this to be a lot lighter, so we're going to pull that in. And we have a couple of light lines, not too much. And this area here is going to be a bit lighter. Let's get some orange on the end, and I'm going to push a bit harder. And a lot of this gets cut off with the mat as well. And that's not to say like the mat is making you lose good art. It's that the art is only intended to be here. I just pull it out further so I don't have to worry about, like, if I adjust the mat a little bit, there's still color there. Get some apricot for some of these highlights. That shows up really nicely. And some more yellow. Gonna put the yellow on top of the white, and then I'll put orange over some of that as well. Oh wait, this is the wrong one. That one doesn't get that light. Let's put the russet back over this. This one's the dark one. I mixed up because this is, look, I'm looking at that as the first leaf, and really that's a non-existent one. It's making me lose my place. And we're going to get a little bit more of a shadow right in here. So we need to get some brighter orange on this one, right through here. And we're going to let that fade out into that russet color. And then here's where it gets a little bit more muddy, and so I'm going to use the rose, what did I say that was? Deep rose. And then we've got more orange. Let's sharpen these pencils again. I'm pushing harder with these than I usually do because, well, it's burnishing. So they need to be sharpened a bit more often. And let's see. Some more with the orange. Yeah, most of this, I think the matte goes to about there. And this needs to be lighter, so we'll put white first. And I'm giving it a bit of pressure there with that pencil. I'm not using a light hand for this. If you want to make sure you're focusing on the right thing, contrast, don't forget that. Like that, the shapes don't need to be perfect. Your contrast, light's light enough, dark's dark enough. That's what's going to make this look good. If everything's sort of mid-tone and safe feeling, it's going to be very boring. Safe is boring when it comes to art and colors and all of that stuff. I mean, sometimes you want stuff more neutralized. This is not one of those. We want like really bold, bright. I think it looks brighter in person than it does on camera. We want to make sure those edges are nice and clean. So again, starting with that yellow or the white so that the yellow will be really bright when I go over it. Pushing pretty hard there. I'm going to switch to orange. I want that to fade as it goes up. This really doesn't show. Most of that gets cut off by the matte. Some of it does, so we want to make sure it's filled in just in case, but not most of it. Okay, let's sharpen the russet pencil. Get some of those lines in there. Actually, I'm missing a few lines in this one too. And a few down here. Now this has a pretty glow right in here. Let's pull some of the yellow right over it. And this one has more yellow too, so I'm pushing harder. And the nice thing with burnishing over those lines I did, it just softens everything out. Okay, this one. That's a big one. Let's start with the russet. Make sure those edges are clean. I want to go heavily over anywhere where the black was showing. Same thing here. And burnishing where it's darker. And the lighter area, I'm going to put white. Right in here where it's a bit lighter. Again, make sure that those lines are going the right direction for the lines in the photo. Don't like do horizontal or scribbly lines here. I'm going to go with the orange for the center here. If I had done the colored pencils over the paper without the pan pastels, it can be done. It's just going to take more layers to get it to be more opaque. If you put the pan pastels down first, it makes the lighter colors much, much more opaque. It's funny, the reference photo I'm looking at, the monitors are so different. This monitor that you guys are seeing, it looks like the flower should be way more yellow. The one I'm using is way more oranges than yellows. It really does. It goes to show the color's not that big of a deal. It's your values. Are your lights light enough? Your dark's dark enough? Because that's what's going to make it look good. If I go with more oranges, it's not a problem, as long as those values are in there right. And after I get most of this in here and I get the center, I'm going to come back and adjust my values a little bit more just to make sure that's where I want it to be. Because that's really what's going to have the most impact on this drawing. Painting, drawing, whatever. Okay, I'm going to use the deep rose. You could use Caput Mortem for this. You could, if you've got the Polychromos, you could use purple with Derwent Lightfast. Any of those sort of magenta type colors would work. Just watching the direction of those lines. And then we've got the russet, so I'll go right over the orange a little bit more there. And if you're looking at something and you're like, it doesn't even make sense why I would put orange there. Why would I make this darker or lighter? Like, I don't even know what petal this is to. That's where what I was talking about with the abstract shape is so important. Don't look at it as a flower petal because it's probably not going to make a ton of sense. I don't even know why half the lines I'm doing are there. I don't need to know why. I need to copy what I see, or at least close. That doesn't mean you can't change it if you don't like something, but not understanding what some of these lines are there for, it may not make sense right now, but when you back up, it all comes together. I did that on a lionfish I had done years ago in watercolor pencils. I did not even understand why some of those lines were there, and when I was backed up, it was like, oh, that's a fin. I didn't even know it was a fin. Like, it was so far, like, you were so focused on that when you're up close, you don't even notice it sometimes. Go over this with the yellow, make the yellow stand out a bit more on these. Just copy those abstract shapes. And no matter what it is, like, let's say you want to get into portrait drawing, it's the same thing. You're still copying abstract shapes. You want to really teach yourself to do that. Clean up that edge because it kind of made a hot mess there. Pull some of those lines down. I want to make sure that is really bright right there. I'm going to pull some of those lines with the white right up into that petal. And let's see, we've got a little bit of detailing in here. You come down this way and then back this way, and that is going to be orange. I don't even know what was supposed to be here. I think I lowered that line too, or pulled it in too soon. Let's widen that a bit. Okay, I'm going to leave those alone. That doesn't mean any of that is done, but I'm going to come down and start fussing over the detail here. Now, this is the same thing. Most of this is not going to get covered. Where's my sample mat? Did I lose that? Where did I put it? I kind of need it. I had it earlier, but it gives you an idea. Oh, here it is, of how this gets blocked out. So really, you can see this whole thing, what I was talking about, doesn't even show. I just want to know about where that's going to be. So this and this, I'm not going to put a ton of time into. I just wanted to make sure there was color there so that, again, with a mat, if I need to adjust it, it works fine. So I can pretty much use the same colors. We've got the russet, and I'm just going to create, actually, let's do the highlights first. I'm going to create the illusion. It's kind of the texture of detail. I am not copying any of that exact, not even close. But I'm going to do all these sort of squiggles to, oh, that is in the way. Go. I'm going to do these little squiggles to start building up that texture. And this is with the apricot first. And we have a row here that's a little bit lighter, and then it'll be a bit darker as we move back. because we have a lot of detail to do very quickly. Now, if I was going to try to make this, you know, super, super, super realistic, then yeah, I'm going to take my time and make this more exact. But you can get the same effect. Something very, very pretty that is almost more, I think of it like a faux finish. Where if you look up close, you're like, yeah, it's a painting, but at a distance, that texture is going to build up and give us that detail. Also, we've got from Art by MB said, hello, puppers. We've got a super chat for you boys. Do you want a super chat? Come on. You're just going to lay there, Gibson? I'm not bringing it to you. Oh, lazy boy. Gibson, come. So lazy. I can't believe you don't want to get up for your sweet potato. Thank you so much. Oh, that's very tasty, huh? Okay. Boys, down. Go lay down. Down. Gibson's like, you just made me get up. This is why I didn't want to get up before. Down. Okay. So back to this. You know, I also want to make sure these are kind of random. Don't just scribble. I mean, be controlled chaos, I guess, is what we're going for here. Where you don't just want polka dots. Some of these are going to overlap, and we're just going to keep building. Again, I don't need to go out that far. I'll just come a little bit in here. I need to fix this. We've got these muddy black colors showing through. Let me, now that I can see where the center is going to be, I can go ahead and fill that in a bit better. See how I can just move this with my hand? My gosh, this thing has been like, why didn't I do this years ago? And it can smudge a little bit. You can see, let me see if you can see a little bit here. Like it's a little bit dirty. It is minor. I mean, compared to like, it's so nice. Okay. Now I need to go a bit darker. Let's grab the russet and we'll work in between some of these. I'm going to use more of this on the outer edge than the center here. We get more oranges in this area. Make sure I pull that up all the way over that black. I don't want that grayish black color showing through there. This is not terribly exciting. This is just repetitive, very time consuming. And take your time. Don't feel like you need to go as quickly as what I'm doing. On a live stream, I have limited time, so I've got to go a bit faster. Working slow does not mean, actually working slow usually means you're going to do a better job. But working fast or slow is not an indication of how good of an artist you are. Some of the most amazing artists are super, super slow. So don't ever let it discourage you when you see other artists working faster than you. It doesn't really mean anything other than creating more work. I mean, I guess for sales purposes, that may mean something. But if you're just making pretty paintings and you're not, you know, on a time constraint, just take your time, enjoy it. So I'm using my deep rose now, coming back through here. I'll probably come through with a little bit of a darker brown or purple too. If you're in the US and you want to own this sunflower, you can. The starting bid is $70. It comes matted, ready to pop into any 8x10 frame. But unfortunately, due to post office issues, I can only do that within the US. I mean, technically, I could ship it outside the US. The problem is it probably may or may not get to you, and I don't have a way to track that. That is not the case for merch though. Merch is not really a problem because it's sent drop ship from whoever my merch companies are, depending on where you bought it. So that is no problem getting to you. Prints, no problem. I'm going to start pulling in darks around this outer edge a bit more so it kind of fades out. Oh, my hand is starting to hurt from doing so much burnishing. Let's pull in some of the, what is this, burn ochre. This is really, really repetitive. I just want to create the texture in there. Let's get some extra highlights with some white. Actually, let's use, because that's a really short pencil and I don't need it to be that light. Yeah, this will work. This is the brown ochre. I think that says 10%. I can't tell because Luminance doesn't want me to be able to see what I'm using. For being such expensive pencils, you would think Caran d'Ache would have hired someone to go, hey, you know what? We should make it so people can see what the writing is on this. I don't know, just a thought. Get some orange, and I'm going to let that go over a bit heavier so it kind of fades in. It's not such a harsh line between the petals and the center here. Just softens it a bit. And that just froze. Oh, no, there it unfroze. Oh, it is super sketchy. I apologize. I don't know why this one always gets really bad delay or lag or whatever. Okay, let's get some more darks in there. Now, it's important to note, I'm not just doing squiggles like this all over. That is not what I'm doing. What I'm doing are more solid shapes like that. So it's, well, let's see, who's going, you know, it's like a shape. It's not squiggles. Don't just scribble all over the place. That's not going to give you this look. I mean, it'll give you a look, just not this one. It's a much more judgy look that you'd be getting. Who would have thought little squiggles would be so exhausting? It's because I'm pushing so hard. So it's a bit of work there. And let's get some browns, something that'll be a bit darker. You look good. What are you? Kind of a warm brown. It looks like sepia. That would be why. I don't want to put this everywhere, just in a few spots. I want to darken up a bit more. This will not be in the petals at all. Now at this stage, I'm really working with the shapes that I've already gotten in there. I'm not constantly putting like the brown on top of the white. That wouldn't make sense. I'm working around the highlights. I'm getting into some of the areas I want to just look like it's a little bit deeper in the little crevices. So around the magentas, around anything that's more dark. Well, deep rose, I guess, technically. But see how we're starting to build that texture now? And it took many colors. This isn't something I could have done with one. So we had the base, we had raw sienna, and what did I put? Orange, I don't know, something lighter on it. I think that was raw sienna orange for the base with the pan pastels. Then I had apricot, I have cream color, I have orange, I have brown, I have magenta. Like I have all these different, I have that russet color, lots of tones in there to get it to this, to get that kind of texture. If you just use a couple of colors, it's going to be very flat. So I would say at least 5 in here to get that look. Okay, now I want to do a little bit more on the detailing on the flower. And I'll show you in the other camera because mine's a little bit more bold than what that camera is picking up. Definitely is more orange than the reference photo is showing on there. But I want to get my darks a little bit darker too. So we can pull some of the magenta in there. Let's really define these nicely. And this, I keep saying magenta, it's deep rose in this case. Whatever magenta you have. This is going to be a great color for anything that I need to be a bit darker. See how I'm not so much shading in like little circles or ovals like normal. I'm pulling this in lines that go with the lines on the petals. But I'm also I'm putting those lines, the areas mainly where I need it to be a bit darker. Let's get some more orange so we can brighten that up in between. So let me sharpen that. And I'll be sorry, itchy eye. I'll be answering all of your questions as soon as we're done with the artwork portion of the stream. And see how by darkening that petal up and focusing on that one a little bit more, it makes the one behind it, the lights, look that much lighter. I'm going to go over that with some orange. So I may make mine darker than what the reference photo calls for because, like I said before, our brights can't be as bright as they would be if I was working on white paper because we've got black behind it. That is going to tone it down some. But that means just increasing the contrast by darkening my darks up, that'll make my lights look that much lighter. So often when you're like I hear this complaint a lot. I can't get my whites like they don't look white enough. They don't look bright enough. It's because what's next to it isn't dark enough in most cases. And the reverse, if your darks don't look dark enough, then the lights next to it may not be light enough. When you keep everything in that safe mid-range area, they don't, you just don't get that contrast. It makes what's next to it look more dull too. Some more orange. I'm going to push really hard there so that really is bold and stands out. Pull my yellows in there a bit more. And that is whatever that yellow I mentioned earlier. What is this? Golden bismuth yellow that I'm mispronouncing, I'm sure. Feel free to correct me on my pronunciation. I won't remember, but you're welcome to correct. So if anyone's reading it, they don't sound like an idiot like I do when I try to pronounce these. Unless you're just guessing. That's not helpful. Oh, we need more orange. Almost done with this guy. Then I'll show you how to mat it. And we will get on to your questions. So if you have any art-related questions or if you have requests for things that you'd like to see me draw or paint next week, let me know. There we go. Okay. There is the finished drawing. Now I need to figure out where I need to sign it. So I need my mat because we know a lot of that is getting chopped off. So I'm going to sign right here. There we go. That is with the finished piece. Oh, that looks so pretty. I am really happy with that. Let me show you what that looks like in this camera because usually the lighting is a bit more accurate and the camera. So there is, oh, kind of, it's over. My darks don't look as dark. There we go. That's a bit better. Actually, I think the other one shows better contrast, but I guess it goes to show depending on the lighting you're under, it'll make a big difference. But let's block that too with the matte. So you see. That is if you're going to bid. Whoops, that's lopsided. That is what the finished project. The glare is making my darks not look dark enough on the flower. But that is what that is going to look like if you want to bid. And let's go ahead and get started on the, let's mat this. Let me put these away. I didn't end up using a lot of my different brands of pencils, did I? Okay, these need to be moved first. And let's move this out of the way. Okay, so first we need to remove the tape from this. So I don't want to, actually this tape doesn't stick well, so it probably could just be pulled off. Yeah, this one can. If your tape is sticking better than mine, then use a hairdryer and heat it up so it doesn't rip. And when you pull the tape, never pull towards the art, ever, because if it starts to tear, it's going to tear into the art. We want to pull away from the art, so if it does start to tear, it tears away from the art. You don't ruin anything. But always remove it super slow. This is not a Band-Aid. Fast is not better. It is, well, you can actually ruin things. Things can go really bad really quickly if you try to pull that off fast. Again, pulling that out. But if it's sticking well, like if it's really sticky tape, this one is so low tack. I actually don't like this specific one that I'm using now. It's not the one I linked in the description. It's the one I got from Blick, and I'm not a fan. It doesn't have enough tack. But if it has more tack, then just heat it up with a hairdryer, and that'll loosen up that adhesive. Yeah, this camera is actually showing it much more accurate than the other one was. That's weirdly accurate. Usually it's not that close. Tearing away slowly. You can't see because it's off camera. That's how you know it's one of my videos. Okay. Now let's go ahead and bring this over here and we'll get this matted. That is really inaccurate on the color. So the first thing we need to do is grab a new mat set. So this is the Golden State Art. Oh, dog's treats, you don't need to see those. Let me grab my tape. This is the mat from Golden State Art. And what I'm going to do, it comes in, I get the one that's a 3-pack. So I've got my bag, I've got the backing, and I've got the mat. And I'll show you why that backing is so important. So the first thing, oh, what am I doing? Pay attention. We're just going to line this up where we want it to be. Actually, there's a little bit of dust in there from the orange for the pan pastels, and it looks pretty. I kind of like that there. Okay, let's line you up like that. Then I'm going to flip it over, straighten it out if I need to. Yeah, that's good. And now I'm going to use an acid-free masking tape. So you can see it says in there, well, maybe you can't see because it's probably not in focus because this camera does not like to focus, but it's pH neutral. And it's all ripped weird. I have to fix this. I want to make sure that I tape all the way around. I've seen people mat this, like other artists, and they only put one little tab there. It doesn't make it lay flat. You want to be a little bit more tape happy. Now the board that I'm going to put in there, that will help flatten it out more too. Again, if you want to own this guy, the starting bid is $70. Link is in the video description, and that is for the original. It's not tight. Let's undo that tape. There we go. Make sure that's nice and flat. Now, what a lot of people do, and what I used to do when I sold prints or artwork, when I matted it, I would just give it to the artist like, or the buyer like this. The problem is, yeah, it's pretty on the front, but you turn it over, I'm sorry, that's just trashy. Like, it's not that much more expensive, and trust me, I'm big on saving money right now. It's not that much more expensive to do the board, and the board is going to make it look so nice and clean. So we're going to, and even if you don't have the board, at least get a blank piece of paper, and which actually isn't a bad way to go either. But if you have like some kind of paper that you didn't like as much, Bristol vellum, I have a ton of that stuff and I don't ever use it, so sometimes that can get used as backing. It has to be something that's pH neutral. Super important, but it doesn't need to, it doesn't have to be the board, but I like something that's a bit thicker. But anything is better than nothing. You want something that covers this mess. That's not cute. And I go pretty tape happy on this because these boards like to pop off. It doesn't really matter if they do. Doesn't hurt anything. I just, as much as possible, if I can keep them attached. And this, again, this is a photo tape, so it's an acid-free double-sided tape. I'm just going to remove that, watching tape be removed. I know that's super exciting. That's what you're here for tonight, the excitement. This is worse than watching paint dry, isn't it? Come on. Come on. Almost done. We can get on to your art-related questions or animal-related. We talk animals here too. Have any of you guys gotten any new family members recently? Meaning animals. I mean, human family members too, I guess count. Okay, and all I'm going to do is set this upright so that it lines up. Press it together. Oh, no, that's not lining up right. Let's pull that apart. You were so close. This is another reason I like to pre-buy these. They're already cut to the right size. If I cut them, I'm usually not right. So here's why this, look at the difference. So now we've got the pretty front and a pretty nice clean back. It just looks more complete. And then we've got, oops, wrong camera. We've got the bag. We're just gonna slide that in here. And then whoever buys this just needs to pop this into an 8x10 frame and it's ready to hang. Let go. There we go. And when it's, that's the other thing. I would definitely recommend putting it in the bag. It just looks, not only does it protect the artwork, it just looks so much nicer. And the board is thick. So, I mean, this is like heavy duty. You're not handing someone a flimsy piece of paper. The overall cost, I don't know how much this costs when you buy in bulk like I did with the Golden State. But let's say you went to like Michael's and bought just an open frame. Or a mat. The mats usually are going to be, I don't know, $3. You can make your own board by getting some Bristol vellum, cutting it down so you've got a whole pad of that. I don't know how much that comes to. And you can buy on Amazon just the bags if you needed to. So you could go that route if you only need a couple and don't want to buy a bigger amount where it saves money to do that way. But it looks so much nicer, so much more professional. And I'll show you again in this one because apparently that color is a lot. Wow, that is strangely accurate. That is exactly what that looks like to me in person. So there is the finished sunflower. Again, if you want to bid on that, $70. Link is in the video description if you're in the US. So, oh, I'm happy with how he came out. That is really pretty. Okay, tea and then questions. Okay. I always forget. Make sure to say thank you to our moderators. You can check out their channels. Links are in the video description. Like, Nick writes down all of your guys' questions and sends them to me. And it makes my life so much easier. Whoops, if I could push the right button. But our moderators have live streams. They've got their own art videos. Definitely check them out. Links are in the video description. There we go. So first question from Jen said, needed eraser question. Do you use the same one for multiple mediums, graphite, charcoal, pastel, or use multiples, or just different kneaded erasers for each? Yeah, mine are all cross-contaminated. I use them for everything. Mine are all a mess. I just wipe them off or kind of clean them off as needed, or get a new one if it's really bad. But I mean, like the kneaded eraser, you can just work it out and it kind of gets rid of all the stuff. So yeah, all mine are, that is one thing that everything is cross-contaminated for sure. Jen said, do you print your reference photos? If so, what kind of printer do you use? I do not. I have never, okay, so for a couple of reasons. One, ink is freaking expensive. God, even 25 years ago, I couldn't afford the ink. Like I was burning through ink so fast to print my reference photos. The other thing is, it's usually not that accurate. You can't zoom in. There's another negative. I can't zoom in and out. So I use my computer. So I've got a laptop, an old laptop that I have and attached to a big monitor that's attached to my wall. Actually, let me see. I can show you. Nope, wrong camera. This is my setup in here. Actually, let's hold this off. Sorry if I'm making you sick. I probably should have done this first. So let me show you my setup. This is how I work. So I've got my easel here. Off to the side, I have a computer monitor, just a cheap monitor mounted to the wall. That's probably why my color is always off. That is not what the color looks like. And that's hooked up to like an old laptop that I don't use for anything. That thing can't run anything anymore. But it's fine for just displaying the image. And that's it. And then I've got a light. But that is my setup. It's always there. I've got a wireless mouse right here, so I can zoom in and out as I need to on the photo pretty easily if I want to, really see the detail. And so that's my setup for working on anything, any medium, live stream, not live stream. That's just how I work, unless I'm working digital, and then I've got the reference on my tablet. So that is the way that I go. Printers, they're not very accurate. I love how this came out. We're just gonna show that off some more. They're not super accurate. And they're very, very expensive. Like when you add up, because you may think, well, it's kind of a lot of money to set up. Most people have a laptop or a tablet or something that they can use the reference photo for. An iPad, a Samsung, like some kind of tablet like that you can have your reference photo on. For me, just this old laptop, because I'm determined to get as much use as possible out of everything I own. A little bit of a hoarder here. My old laptop and an old monitor that is, I think I damaged that. I don't remember why that ended up being used for this, but that is what I just mounted it onto the wall, and it's worked out really, really well. It's more accurate. Now, I comment that the printer, the color is usually off. Yeah, but it's also kind of off anyway on this. My monitors, like you can't see it on here because the color wasn't at all accurate, but the monitor on the wall does not match the monitor, my laptop at all. As long as I can see the contrast and it's close, that's all I really care about. So there we go. But printer is even worse. Like if the printer ink, the blacks usually print too dark, so you just can't see the detail. And if you need detail, then you have to print it again with the area of like just monitor is so much easier. Let's see. That's a good question though. Karen said, Lisa, do you plan on doing another surreal painting or drawing anytime in the future? I especially love the big cat ones. I have not. Yes, I'm wanting to do a lot more surreal stuff. Like I'm working on the portrait right now that is, it's not really surreal, but it's not really realistic because no one's holding that kind of owl on their shoulder. But, and I'm probably throwing moths and stuff in there. I'm definitely wanting to get back into doing more surrealism, but also include, things are still realistic enough if somebody is following along with the lesson and they're not into surrealism, just pick and choose the parts you like out of it. But yes, I absolutely, and I just got really good photos. I had mentioned of the cheetahs. I'm certain and the tiger, I'm going to want to be painting some of those myself. So I'll see what I can turn that into surreal wise for sure. Cindy said, my question first is, would this work just as well using pastel pencils instead of colored pencils? Yes, you absolutely could use pastel pencils. My second question, it would be, is the fixative required for colored pencil? I know fixative somewhat changes the velvety pastel texture. For colored pencil, no, I don't use fixative. The only time I use a fixative for a colored pencil is if I'm working on sanded paper with like powder blender, then I'm using the texture or the final fixative that it comes with, or that goes with that whole setup. If I'm working with pan pastels, then I want to make sure that I'm using some sort of a fixative between that stage and the colored pencil stage. It helps the colored pencils to stick better, and it helps to keep the pan pastel sticking to the paper longer. Pastel pencils over the years, they kind of fall off the paper. They just do. So if you've got a fixative, that's going to minimize that as much as possible, and it's going to make the artwork last way longer than if you're not using any fixative. The thing that I like about SpectraFix is that it's not darkening the artwork like I've used so many other fixatives over the years, and they darken pastels and charcoal so bad that you just don't want to use it because it ruins the work. It's like, what's the point? I'm gonna have to redo everything anyway to bring my lights back. I don't find that to be the case with a SpectraFix. I love that stuff. Definitely my go-to when I'm using the pan pastels. If I'm using powder blender, then I use the brush and pencil final fixative, which I need to do a powder blender project soon. I haven't done one in way too long. But colored pencil by itself, like just colored pencil on the paper, no, I don't need any fixative. Let's see. So, and speaking of all of these lessons, if you have not already signed up, make sure to head over to patreon.com/Lachri. For as little as $6 a month, you get access to every single one of my longer tutorials. There are over 400 available immediately when you sign up. New ones all the time. I used to do a new one every week, but I'm trying to do like more. I'm just longer. I'm doing way longer ones, and they're just taking more time. So I've got new ones all the time. There's a ton of rewards. You get access to our Discord group. So if you want to chat with other artists, we chat about books. We can chat about our animals. We can chat about art. Share our sketchbook. You get access to our sketchbook daily. Like I have sketchbook prompts. So every day you've got something new you can draw. Just download that and draw that, and you can share that within our Discord group if you want, or don't share it all. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. You've got just tons of rewards. $6. Like I used to charge, and this was before the economy went to, like, inflation turned into a nightmare of nightmares. I was charging $20 for a 2-hour class once a week. For $6, you get everything, and you're actually watching me work, which I think is better than my in-person class. Like I think you can learn a whole lot with these. So head over to patreon.com/Lachri. I've been doing these lessons over there since 2014. So you're just not going to find a better deal because I have so many lessons there. The older ones, the video camera is not as good. They've gotten better over the years for sure, but 400 lessons. You're not going to be bored anytime soon, and in multiple mediums too. Okay. We also have a super chat from Aline. Thank you so much, Aline. She said, obviously for the boys, but also for my other favorite duo, French fry and tuna from Blueberry. So Aline just got Blueberry, her own little parrotlet. Dear God, he is adorable. Seriously, so cute, little pied blue boy. Also, do those boys want a super chat from Aline? Look, Aline, they're just not excited. I think they're just used to hearing your name. Come on, come get your super chat. That was funny. Thank you so much, Aline. Wow, is that very tasty, huh? There we go. Oh, that's good. And slobbery hands. And that's what jeans are for. That is because I'm classy. Okay, go lay down. Thank you, Aline. Go lay down. Go lay down. Okay. Let's see. ArtZK1 said, question, Lisa, do you use super light pressure with the pan pastels? What paper are you using for this project? So all the supplies I'm using are always listed in the video description, assuming I did my job right. I don't always do my job right. Sometimes copy, paste wins. Yeah, so I don't always check everything. But anyway, I would say medium pressure. I'm not caking it on super thick. I've seen where people put it on so thick that with the pan pastels that the colored pencil didn't stick super well. So I'm putting it on thick enough that it gets to the the opacity that I'm looking for. But I'm not pushing hard at all. But I'm also not using a feather light hand. Like it's not super soft, but I'm not scrubbing it in. I don't know if you've ever worn makeup or you've watched someone else put on makeup. About the same amount of pressure I would do for applying eyeshadow, I guess. I don't know if that's a good example. And what paper? That is the Canson Inktense in the black. Monica said, do you prefer colored pencils over pastel pencils on top of pan pastel? Okay, so in my case, yes, but that's because I refuse to use pastel pencils because the feel of them, the dryness, the chocolate, it freaks me the heck out. Like I turn into an absolute crazy person, heebie-jeebies. I can't function. I had a Smart Art box came with Pastels or pastel pencils once, and I'm so glad it did because I had been getting back in the like, oh no, I think I could just get used to it. I used to use pastel pencils when I was younger. I wasn't all weirded out by them because I apparently got crazier with age. I can do this. No, I cannot. I use those. I think it was a giraffe I was trying to draw. No, or something. I don't even know. I don't remember. I remember the heebie-jeebies. I remember having to consistently stop and go wash my hands and put lotion on so I could start over again and get all heebie-jeebied out. So yeah, no, that is a me thing, not a this art is better. I love colored pencils. I have control of them. I'm used to working with colored pencils, but the pastel or pastel pencils, beautiful. If you are not a crazy person and you can handle them, the work is beautiful. You can get soft lines, you can get harsher lines. They're wonderful. If you're looking for pastel pencil lessons, Jason Morgan would be my recommendation too. He's here on YouTube as well. Let's see. Also, can you alternate between colored and pastel pencils on top of pastel at the same painting? I would assume so, but I think what will happen is the pastel pencils are not going to stick super well to the colored pencil. Whereas, like, let's say I decided I needed to soften out for some reason my petals. I don't. They're perfect. But let's say I did. I could go back over that with pan pastel, no problem. Pastel pencils are just not going to want to stick to the oily, waxy pencils. Like pan pastels they feel oily to me. I don't know. That's not the right word. But kind of it is. Like they just stick to things really well, much better than like the dry pastel pencils do. So while technically you could go over them with the pastel pencils, I don't think you're going to get the results you want putting pastel pencils on top of colored pencil. So it's not really so much an archival thing as much as it just isn't going to stick thing. Like I don't see that as being super beneficial. I do colored pencils primarily like for my last layers. But again, pan pastels will stick on top of this where I don't think pastel pencils would well. Jen said, how would you approach this if it was in acrylics? Oh, good question. So I would have probably painted my whole background black. I would have drawn out, used a white charcoal pencil, there are a million different ways you can get to the same end, but I would have used a white charcoal pencil, drawn out my flower petals, painted them white, then painted the yellow on top, because I probably wouldn't have left just flat black. If I'm going to do an acrylic painting, I'm going to get some different tones in the background. So I would rather get the background painted, get it smooth, and then put the detail work on top of it, because if I'm trying to paint that black around the flower petals, it is not going to come out smooth. You're going to have halo lines around it. It's not going to be cute. So I'm going to do the whole background, paint the flower petals white, like draw them out with my white charcoal pencil, paint them white, and then I can go on top and get bright, bright yellows on top of the black. Because if I put yellow on top of black, yellows are, even though opaque ones are fairly translucent, you're going to see the black through it. So that's why you've got to paint white first. Then I can get that bold, bright white. And if I do that, I can get such high contrast, like bold, bright, bright yellows against the dark blacks. Beautiful. Like this acrylics would be a good project for this. But then I would do it the same way after that step. I would work the same way I did here. One petal at a time, just focusing on, I would probably paint everything yellow after the white. And then I would work one petal at a time, getting my lights and darks in there. Do you guys remember, total off topic really quick, speaking of books, the really adult book that I read, well, it was smut. That's just the only way to word it. Sorry if there are kids in the room. Good luck explaining that really means cute kitten. So it was bad. The friend that recommended it, she felt guilty. So a friend of hers liked it, and that's why she recommended it before she read it. She just finished it. She's messaging me. I guess it was a waste of words. It was how she summed up that book. It didn't get better. Like 5 of you remember the book I'm talking about. It was bad. It was so bad. I gave up on it. I got like halfway. I was like, yeah, I'm out. I can't. This is too adult for me. Even skipping over adult scenes, it's just too adult. Like, no. So yeah, that's kind of funny. I just got the message that she finished it and called it a waste of words. Oh, she's giving me more details. I'll have to read that later. That's kind of funny. I can't believe somebody finished that book because it was so bad. Let's see. Patty said, would pastel pencil work as well as the colored pencils? Okay, so that's the same question. Basically, same answer as I gave before. Baby Panda said, we just got a new Havanese puppy. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. We got her at 8 weeks old and she's now 10 weeks. She's all of 3 pounds right now. She's a love. But she likes to bite everything. We love her to pieces. Oh, that's so cute. Stacy said, "Who? Congratulations on that puppy. Older, I love those guys." Stacy said, "Who would you recommend for prints of my work?" Assuming you're in the U.S., I think you were. I really have had good results from Giclée today. Now, I'm not going to say, it's not like they're the only good place to have prints made. I just love, love, love the quality. Like, I've been so happy with them. So that's who I personally use, but I also haven't tested out like 10 different places to find out. For drop ship, like you want to make prints and they're available on your website, I use Fine Art America. The owner, I've heard weird things about. He doesn't really care about the business anymore, and then they weren't taking care of it, and the people working for him were getting frustrated. I don't even know what's going on behind the scenes. I know there was a period for like, God, over a year, I couldn't even log into my account. And I couldn't get them to respond to emails, and it was a whole thing. I finally got a hold of somebody, and it was fixed. Like, anytime somebody bought something, they got the print, and I got paid, but I couldn't put new prints on my... They've had some weird things. I'm not going to say Fine Art America is the best of the best, but I have been happy with the printed stuff, like cell phone cases. I don't actually sell it off there now for cell phone cases. That's another site. But I used to have cell phone cases on there for prints on canvas. They're decent. I like Giclée today better, but for a drop ship, like an easy way that way, Fine Art America, I've been relatively happy with. Except, and this is why I say relatively, prints, print on canvas, all that's really cool. Puzzles, oh my gosh, the puzzles, I've been very happy with the quality of the puzzles. My mom's a puzzle person, so she's my tester for that. Those have come out beautiful. Pillows, I've had stuff printed on pillows from Fine Art America. They're beautiful. The one thing that has been terrible, clothing, t-shirts, sweatshirts, any of that, I do not sell anything through them. I use Spring or Teespring for my t-shirts and stuff, and they have amazing customer service. Now, you can have prints on Spring or Teespring. I need to order myself one and see what the quality is there, but you could technically sell a print on there, and again, drop ship. So somebody orders it and they send it to them. You don't have to be involved in shipping, in packing, in anything. Giclée today, you're responsible for shipping, packing. Although I think they do have a drop ship option, but it's not the same as what like Teespring, or which is my normal merch thing, or my print shop with Fine Art America does. So those are where my experience with print stuff. Let's see. Apparently Clark Fine Art was getting stalked by Wonder Star Art. Said she visited her house. It's a little creepy. I'm guessing you're friends. But from my view, it's a lot funnier. Terry said hello from Ohio. Hi, Terry. Let's see, where are we? We still have almost 20 minutes. What do you guys want to chat about? I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to share with you guys. Projects that we're doing. So the acrylic portrait I'll be doing, I'm gonna go at least 18 by 24. I don't know if I'm gonna go bigger than that. That'll probably be good enough, but because I want the owl in it, and I don't know what else I'm throwing into that one. But it is such a pretty reference photo. I got it from Unsplash. So pretty. Let's see. Was there anything else I touched on earlier and I thought, oh, I'd like to go deeper into that or talk more about that? And I don't remember what it was now, but I do remember there being something. For stickers, prints like of stickers and stuff, Sticker Mule. This is sitting right there. It's a magnet. And the thing that I like with Sticker Mule, the quality is amazing, but also if you sign up, like I get emails every day, they've got some new deal. Like you can get, normally it's $50 for this set of stickers, but today you can get it for $19 and it's like for 50 of them. So you can get a good deal if you buy this stuff on sale. I've never bought anything with them full price. I always do the sale ones, but I've gotten little pins, glitch pins. So anybody who like wins one of my paintings or buys a painting through the auction or through my website, you get one of those now. They've got some neat stuff on their site. So there are a lot of different sites that are good for, depending on what type of print that you want. There are a lot of different ones. I need to set up an Audible thing. So one of the things that I want to start doing is at the end of some of these videos, kind of book recommend or what I'm reading. So we'll have like a session of what I've been reading while I'm at the easel, because I listen to audiobooks while I paint and draw. So it'd be fun to tell you what to buy or not to buy. So currently I've been reading, I need to go ahead and do, get my Audible affiliate link. But I've been reading I don't know, let me know if you guys have read this, the Zodiac Academy. It's rough. it starts out with like they are being bullied like you wouldn't believe, and that, so some people might be sensitive to that because it's bad. Like even I was just like, and I'm not super sensitive with stuff. I'm like, okay, this is a bit much. Like I hate these people. So, but oh my gosh, I'm on book 7 now. I still can't put it down. There are some serious, like you don't want to listen to this when your children are in the room. There are definitely some adult scenes that well, I skip over those, but it's like I can't have the phone on and like me doing something else because I'm constantly having to like, oh, gotta skip this part. But like the story part, I am loving this story. The author has done a great job of constantly keeping me interested in, like, there's always a new challenge. It's not like usually the longer series like this, I get kind of bored. This one I have not yet. I'm on book 7 and I'm still like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? So that's been a fun one. Yeah, that one is, I'm enjoying that book. But again, there are a lot of like, I wouldn't be driving down the road blaring this thing without being able to easily turn it off because of the words that come out of their mouths that are just, but besides that, it is that one I've been really enjoying. Let's see. Have I made any, Shelby said, have you made any artwork on your birds? I have. I've got several. I did a graphite of chicken when he was a baby, so he still had his baby chicken colors. That's over on Patreon. I have the Patreon one of a painting I recently did of French fry in acrylics. Have I done any of the others? I don't think I've done the others. Cindy said, are your surreal pieces in a specific place? I need more info on like in a place on my website, in a place in my house, in a place in the country. I need more info there. Yeah, I'm not sure what the question is. Probably. I don't know. Brittany said, this past weekend I found that Adobe has tutorials for various apps on its website that I can pull up in their various apps to follow and learn how to use various tools. That is nice. Yeah, Adobe. The thing that I like with Adobe, I think they're too expensive, but also because so many people use them, even that's cool that they've got lessons on there, but like, there's so many YouTube tutorials on anything. You're like, how to make something glow in Adobe Photoshop. And there's a tutorial step-by-step how to do it. So that's one thing I really love about the Adobe programs. There's so many free resources to learn how to do it. Let's see. Joseph had said, blink twice if you're currently a hostage to Clark Fine Art. Let's see. So yeah, book-wise, there are those. I'll be setting up the Adobe, not Adobe, the Audible affiliate link. I need to get that going. But I thought that'd be fun to like talk kind of a book review without giving spoilers. In case you guys also like to listen to books while you paint and draw. Let's see, website. Anywhere on oh no, so if you go to my website, lachri.com, just under gallery, it's all mixed. I don't have everything I've ever done on there. You don't want to display everything. You want to put your favorites because people will get bored and they're not going to look at them all anyway. But yeah, they're all, if you're just looking at some of them, it's just under gallery. But if you're looking to buy prints, I think it is on, let's see, lachri.com. I think if you go to shop original, like say shop prints, I think, nope, that doesn't do it. Sort, okay, it doesn't on prints. I think there was a way through the Fine Art America site you could sort. Okay, under collection, so if you go to prints, under collections, there are surreal paintings listed there. So that would be if you're looking for prints. If you're looking for original paintings for sale, I don't have them sorted, but there's 43, so it's like 2 pages worth of stuff to scroll through. I don't have a ton of stuff. Actually, that's one of the things that I'm going to start. Oh, the Oriole's only listed for $2.95 on my website, so he's even cheaper than I thought. It looks so much better in person than it does in that photo. I am going to start listing. I need to get a bunch more paintings listed. I'm missing, no, that one's up. I definitely need to get some more stuff listed up there. That's one of my goals this month is to like once a week put at least one new painting available for sale on my website for originals, because I have so many. I just don't upload them because that takes time. So let's see. I'm getting notification. Oh, it's still about the book. You've still got, if anyone wants, whoops, not that one. Yeah, that one. The sunflower is still available. I don't think there's any bids, so $70 to have your own sunflower. Otherwise, he gets to go up on my website too. I'm trying, God, 10 minutes. I'm drawing a blank right now. I need to start writing stuff down because I know there was more stuff to chat about. Let's see. I'm going to be working. I haven't yet. I've been really bad this week. Matt was on vacation last week, so we were like trying to do more errands and stuff than usual. But I need to get caught up on some stuff. But one of them, I've got to do the studio. I need to clean my studio. There's like crap all over the place. But I've got a studio tour coming. Thank you, Terry. I've got to think. We've got lots of lessons I need to make videos out of for YouTube. They're all already up on Patreon, but I need a lot need to be done over here. It's just going to take me actually editing them, which is time consuming. So that's on the to-do list. What else? Looks like my puppies melted. They're just spilled over their beds. Let's see. Clark Fine Art's still trying to figure out why Wonderstar Art thinks they're outside of their house. So that's Cindy said, guys, I don't think she's keeping busy enough. What else? It's so frustrating because I always, like, throughout the week, I'm like, oh, I need to tell everyone on the live stream, and I'm just drawing a complaint blank right now. What else is going on over here? I think all the animals are doing well. Matt's new Indian ringneck Loki likes me more, apparently, and Matt may divorce me over it, so that's fun. And he's hilarious, and he's been mimicking me. He was talking earlier so much peekaboo, and because that's one of the games I play with him a lot. And what you doing, or what doing? It's so cute. Matt just went to sleep. Let's see. Did you guys? Oh, I keep thinking some of you guys may benefit from this. Some of you guys are interested in the health stuff. I don't, like, I have no problem falling asleep. I don't stay asleep. After a few hours, I wake up and then my brain is like, what can I stress myself out over? Well, I should be sleeping. Magnesium and vitamin D before bed. I don't have to take melatonin anymore. I've been taking melatonin for years because it's the only hope I have of getting some more than 2 hours of sleep, but even that isn't great. Like, nothing really works well. Yeah, vitamin D and magnesium. You have to take them together to make them work. Holy crap, I sleep all night. Like, I don't wake up at all. Like, it is the most, and if I do wake up, I fall right back asleep instantly. I've been doing this for a few weeks now. Nothing ever lasts this long or works this well. And it's like, wow, these are things that we should probably be taking as supplements anyway, but take it before bed. I used to take it in the morning. Take it before bed. I don't know. There's science behind relaxing, blah, blah, whatever. I don't know, whatever. It works. I sleep now all night long, and it's amazing. And it's probably, I'm not a doctor. Do what your doctor says. But look into it because it's friggin' amazing. Let's see. Nick, hey, that's me. Oh, the sleeping, yes. Vitamin D, magnesium. Also, I was watching a doctor on YouTube, Dr. Berg, and he was talking about, he's more of your natural type doctor, which is what I'm more interested in. But he was talking about we need like double the recommended vitamin D. Like we don't get it, at least me. I don't go in the sun, so that makes sense. So yeah, it's made such a difference. I feel so much better. So yay. Let's see. Cindy said, have you at all kept up with or heard from Will Stoller at MS Art? I think you did a video with him a while back. No, he's on my Facebook. Hold on, let me see. I don't pay that much attention on my Facebook feed. I have not heard from him in a while, but let's see really quick. He last posted June 25th with his snake. Like an animal snake, don't be dirty. Let's see, he was running. He's big into the vegan, I think, is it vegan that is his thing? Lots of exercising, but yeah, nothing, he hasn't posted on Facebook since June, which is kind of weird. I don't know what's going on there. Not that he used to post a couple times a month, so at least once a month, so that's a bit odd. No, that is the extent of my knowledge. Let's see. Nick said I take vitamin D in the morning. Yeah, that's what I did too. Because I was thinking if I took it in the morning, I'd have more energy through the day. I don't know why. Just my brain says vitamins in the morning. Yeah, no. But it has to be with magnesium. Like those two are supposed to always be taken together, apparently. Didn't know. Like magnesium makes the vitamin D work. Whatever. Take it before bed. And it doesn't make me tired if I take it in the day. So it's not like it makes me go to sleep. But I don't have a problem falling asleep. I have a problem staying asleep. Not anymore. Like, from day one, it worked for me. And I don't know if it's gotten better with time, but it is like, it is shocking to me. It is amazing. Let's see. Any other art questions? We got 5 more minutes. What else do we have going on? Oh my gosh. So a Rosella cockatoo, and I cannot decide. Oh, such a pretty photo. I don't know if I want to do this as an Inktense, like super realistic Inktense. I haven't done one of those in a while. Let me know what you want to see over on Patreon for a Rosella. It is, some of these photos I got, like the bokeh background was just so pretty with the lighting, with everything. I'm super excited about that. So let me know what lesson that you want to see next over on Patreon. I need to know the medium. I need to know the subject. The portrait, acrylic portrait that you guys requested, that's going to take me a bit more planning. I'm still working on that one, but I need to get like an actual project started in the meantime. Gail said, I love this format for the live feed. I've been away from pencils and Patreon for a long time, but you're inspiring me to get back into it. Yay, yes, get back into it, Gail. And welcome back. I'm glad you like this style. Yeah, I've tried to keep the chattering and rambling at the end of the stream, like the art project's done, so people who just want to focus on art, it's just that, and focused on that in the beginning, so, you know, minus puppy super chats. Let's see, what other things? I'm looking around, I'm like, I haven't really done any drawing. I was so busy with everything else this week. What else? Yeah, I need to get some more paintings available on my website for sure. Like even now I'm looking around here going, why, that isn't listed on my site, it should be. So yeah, I've got to get some more original art updated. Art by MB said, I have a craft fair coming up. I wanted to know if you have ever participated in one of those and how many pieces, crafts did you bring? I brought way too many last time. Ugh, craft and art fairs, I hate them. I like going to them. I do not like displaying it. I don't do them anymore. I'm not even going to do aquashell anymore. Like, it is so much work and people don't buy expensive things there. So if you don't have a lot of prints to sell, I just don't find it's generally worth it to set up, to pay the entry fee, whatever the fee is to display, to get all of that done and sell. Like, let me use this as an example. Aquashella, the booth would be $800. I made maybe $600 every time I do those shows. I don't have enough prints, but I can't justify spending more money. Now I have like, I don't know, 15 different prints available, but I can't go and print a bunch more for a show that I do once a year. I think to do well with like craft shows, art shows, you have to do a lot. One a year, you're not going to make enough money to make it worth having all those prints made and then sitting on all those prints, which I'm going to be having a print sale at the end of October. So that's kind of a fun thing. A print, like a giclée sale. We're going to do those. That'll be part of the sale coming up. So I just don't find, I said, thank you, Gail. I will be, puppies will get a super chat for that in a moment. But yeah, the art shows and such, if you do them, like you're out there doing 1 a month, 2 a month, 3 a month, you can justify the cost it's going to be to have all of these smaller prints made. Your big originals, bringing a bunch of originals to art shows, it is a huge risk to that art getting damaged. I have damaged so many original paintings just moving them, no matter how careful I was. Stuff inevitably gets damaged over time. Somebody knocked, God, was it C-Chem, I think, the booth next to me last year, knocked into one of my big expensive paintings because they weren't being careful in their booth. They knocked something over, which knocked into mine. It was just, it's a whole, that one actually did irritate me a lot. But the originals, not likely to sell. Now, if you're somebody who has originals for $50 or $100, yeah, bring those. But, you know, originals that are $300, $400, $500, $1,000, they're not as likely to sell at those shows. And it's always funny because I would always bring one big painting that, like, if I were to sell, it would be $5,000, but it's always one that's not for sale. Well, what if I want to buy it? You don't want to buy it. Why are we arguing when I already know you're not going to buy a $5,000 painting at Aquashella? Let's be realistic. It always cracked me up when people made like, but is that for sale? No, it's not for sale. Well, if it was, how much would it be? That's about a $5,000 painting. Well, can I buy, if you want to buy it, I will sell it to you right now. But like, why are we arguing? Because I know you don't want to buy. People don't buy the more expensive stuff. So it's not worth the risk. I always bring one big original, but it's not worth the risk to bring a ton of paintings. I used to do that all the time. So that is just something to keep in mind with those. Prints, like pillows, keychains, like little stuff like that, you're going to sell more of, but the only way you're going to make it worth it financially for you to have, you have to buy that in bulk. If you're not doing multiples of these shows a year, it's just not worth it financially. It's kind of fun. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it for the fun. That's why I did Aquashella before. This time I'm like, it's just too exhausting, too much work. It took me a month to recover from the last one. I'm like, yeah, I'm out. I'm done with those. But you just have to keep in mind, like financially as a business, does it make sense? And unless you're going to be doing a lot of those, you're not going to buy all those items in bulk to be selling, and it's not as worth it. The people who do better at those craft shows have little things that they can sell for $15, $20, because that's about what people want to sell or buy, maybe $50. The really expensive stuff, the more, $300, $400, $500, those aren't going to sell. So there's not really much reason to bring them other than to maybe bring one or two to show off. Like, look how good I am. Here's some prints. So that, just things to keep in mind. Also, we have, I'm going to get the super chats for the puppies at the very end. Thank you so much, Gail. Art by MB said, okay, I got that one. We answered these, and then we will wrap this up. Stacey said, if you like Dr. Berg, check out Dr. Ken Berry. He's really good. I'll have to look that up. I have not seen that one. Let's see. Cindy said, I think I've heard the melatonin can stop being effective after a while. It was never that effective for me. It worked better than nothing, but it was never that effective. Like, I'd still wake up, but I had a better chance of falling back asleep if I was using a time release one. Whereas if I didn't take anything, I would not fall back asleep. I would just be tired and a zombie all day. So, but yeah, so far the melatonin or the magnesium vitamin D has been amazing. Brittany Daniels said, I would love some recommendations for tutorial books as I keep getting, as far as keeping my skills up in colored pencil, etc. Let's see, goes that you recommend for people like me. The Colored Pencil Bible by Aliona Nicholson. She's got two books, Colored Pencil Bible and, is it a portrait one? I forget the other one. My brain just shut down. I love hers. I don't get a lot of art books. There aren't many art books. Hers I love, love, love. And she's covers more advanced things, so really, really helpful. But, there aren't many books that I like as much. I'm more into videos, so I honestly don't have much more I can recommend, unfortunately, so I apologize for that. Okay, puppies, you had a super chat from Gail. Do you want your last super chat? They're like, well, we never get one this late into a live stream. Gibson, come. Gibson, come. I'm not bringing it to you, lazy boy. Oh, that's very tasty. Thank you so much, Gail. And thank you guys so much for joining. Let me know, leave a comment what you want to see. When the live stream's over, you can leave a comment, not in the chat. But let me know what you want to see medium and what subject matters you want to see, whether it be over on for Patreon longer lessons or for these quicker live streams. And I will see you guys next week. Bye. Oh, I'm back. Whoops.